Well, hello everybody. Today, Beverage Hundreds is finally in Astoria. This place has just always been dear to my heart. Anyhow, Astoria has been around for a while. It was founded back in, it's been a settlement actually since about 1811. And that was from Lewis and Clark expedition, Hudson Bay Factory Company and all that. And a lot of people come here for the movie history or for the Lewis and Clark history or anything like that. But we're here for other stuff. And Justin will tell you what we're here for.
All right, in today's episode of The Story Behind the Brew, we are at Pilot House Distilling right here in Astoria, Oregon. Beautiful downtown area. It is a historic area. You can really feel the history here. It is beautiful. Today turned out to be really nice. The forecast looked like it was gonna be cloudy and rainy. It was raining on our drive up here this morning, but man, the clouds have gone away. The sun is out. It's a beautiful day to be here in Astoria, and we're gonna go learn the story behind the brew at Pilot House. Now this is our second distillery we have gotten to learn the story of, so very excited. We've been planning this for quite a while now. So let's go ahead and go inside and learn the story behind the brew at Pilot House Distilling. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome to Behind the Brew. We are, like we said, in Astoria at Pilot House Distilling. This is really, really excited. We're joined today by Justin. How's it going, man?
It's going great.
It's good to have another Justin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers.
There we go.
Welcome to the Pilot House.
Thank you.
Very
we are honored to be here.
Awesome.
Yes.
We're honored to be here.
It's been, Dave's talked about this place a lot.
Yeah. I mean, Astoria itself is the home for my soul. I come up here from Roseburg at least once a year, even if just for a few hours.
Yeah.
As soon as I come into town, I mean, Justin, I probably noticed the difference in me as we were coming into town. I was just like,
it's exciting. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot.
Yeah, I love it. It feels like home to me for sure. I'm from the East Coast originally.
Really? Okay.
I'm from Vermont, but this Astoria feels like a small New England town that I'm from.
It does. It
Yeah.
really does.
And it's close enough to the beach. It's like a weird apex area where people either come through, going down 101, or they're heading to Portland on their way through, or heading to Washington across the Megler.
Yeah, this is kind of the little meeting point for everything. It's really
and
nice.
the town itself, it's for being a small coastal town, it's got a larger city vibe to it.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I always come in here and I think of it as like a mini San Francisco.
Well, they have so many parks.
Yeah,
the same people that were designing those parks are the same people that were designing the parks around here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so you have lots of Victorian style garden areas and buildings and outcroppings. It's really
just the architecture here is just phenomenal.
All right, so real quick before we go any farther, we just did a little toast. What do we got in this glass?
So in this glass we have our Come Hell or High Water whiskey series. It's a single malt whiskey that we send out. It's aged for 2 years in house.
Wow.
And then we send it out on a fishing vessel, a local ship, and then it goes out for a season on the boats, preferably higher up, maybe on top of the pilot house. And so it constantly moves, and that rocking kind of helps age the whiskey a little bit faster.
Wow.
Gives it a little bit more of like a hometown connection to Astoria.
Right.
And I think it just gives it an extra flavor that just sitting stagnant doesn't give it.
Right. Yeah, you get the sea breeze on it, some of the salty.
Definitely gives it a heck of a good story.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah,
and each bottle is, like I said, individually labeled. The bottle number, the batch number, the boat that it was on, what they were fishing for that season, and the date that we took it off the boat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That definitely makes it very special.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. How many of these do you usually make? Are these constantly?
They are not constant, so they are a limited edition series.
Okay.
This is our 13th batch.
Okay.
But I'm working on our 14th. I've just got that out of the barrels and ready to start bottling here shortly.
Right on. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give this a try. 'Cause
Yes, please.
It smells really good.
Oh,
Wow.
that's good. It's excellent.
Real caramelized flavor.
Yes.
Some like melon rind in there.
It's got a good
I can
sweetness
see
to
that.
it.
A sweetness. I always get notes of like a mystique kind of
Yeah, I can see
barbecue
that.
flavor, but also
Little.
raisins and also like a long pulled chewing tobacco.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. A little sea taste in there, just a hint.
A little salty briny.
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
little
Yeah,
bit. I
for
can
sure.
taste that. Really cool. All right, Justin. Well, let's talk about your background a little bit. Where you said you came from the East Coast.
I came from the East Coast. I kind of took the long road to get to Oregon.
The Oregon Trail.
Yeah, like I said, grew up in Springfield, Vermont. I went to college in upstate New York at Paul Smith's College. I was a Bachelor of Science in Recreation, Adventure, Travel, and Ecotourism.
Nice.
Oh.
Wow.
I've worked in lots of parks around the area. I've also worked with local and state park systems. So we, hold on a second, Mike's coming in.
All right. Come on.
Hey! So I was living in Oklahoma, working for a allergy lab. I wasn't really enjoying my time there. I had some friends
Doesn't sound that exciting.
Yeah, not my favorite place.
Oklahoma.
And so I had a friend that was living in town, and he was the sous chef at Bowie at the time.
Oh.
And so he needed a roommate, and I wasn't really interested in working in a kitchen, but I had several years of experience, and so I jumped back into it and worked with the kitchen crew over at Bowie, doing frontline cook work and then also prep work in the back. Moved to distributing with River Barrel Distributing, which is part of the umbrella that we're all under. Making deliveries to Washington and parts of Oregon.
Nice.
Then worked in the brewery for a while. Worked on the canning line, brewed a couple beers. While I was doing that, I was still distributing, and during that time, they were making the deal with Larry and Christina, the original owners and the brains behind Pilot House, really.
Yeah.
They were making the deal to partner up and help build this business up a little bit more. And so they needed another employee to help Larry get up to the pars that they were looking for. And so I started working on my short days when I wasn't working a whole lot over at the distillery or Larry needed me. I would come over here and start learning just bottling, labeling, sealing, just the rudimentary beginnings of the whole thing. Just here's what I need you to do it. And so
Sweet. So did you start brewing at all before you came over here? Was that something you were into?
For sure. I mean, during college, I brewed beer with my roommates, under our beds and stuff like that. Not the greatest tasting stuff, but like food science for sure has been. The college I went to, Paul Smith's, was a culinary school, and I wasn't a culinary student, but all my roommates were. And so I think having that tight-knit area when they're all learning that stuff and practicing for their tests, I kind of grew to enjoy that kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool. All right. So then, so you started helping out over here. How long ago was that?
2018.
2018. So Pilot House is relatively a newer.
I believe Pilot House. So Larry and Christina Carey, the original owners, started with North Coast Distilling.
Okay.
And that was in Cannon Beach.
Okay.
Okay.
We they there was some controversy with the name. They changed it
North Coast
to Pilot
Brewery.
House. Yeah, for sure. So they switched it to Pilot House, which has and they moved from Cannon Beach to Astoria. And so the Pilot House really has more of a closer connection to Astoria and the town. It's a port town.
Right.
And Pilot House is like the enclosed area on a boat that has the helmsman steering and all the steering equipment in there. But also, the Pilot House in town is where the bar pilots, which is one of our brand names, stay and ship out and navigate the Columbia River Bar, which is one of the most dangerous waterways in the world.
Yes, the Graveyard Pacific.
Yep. So we like to, have a little connection to that part of the history here of town.
Sweet. That's really cool. So that answers the history of the name.
Yes. What about the history of this building?
So this building is originally part of the historic Liberty Theater.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this is the backside, used to be the backstage area. And over the years, it has been changed into several different things. It was a auto repair shop at one time. I'm not quite sure. I think that was what it was right before Larry and Christina moved in.
Okay.
But I think since 2013, they've been here.
Yeah, I know it's been here for quite a while. The years in the past I'd come up here. I never, wasn't really into distilleries and stuff. I was
For sure.
That's kind of interesting. You got a distillery here. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes people walk in not knowing what that is. Like, what is a distillery? Like, we distill alcohol. And it's with the Oregon and the Pacific Northwest is the land of 1,000 million beers.
Literally.
Craft distilling is very new. And Larry had a great ideas and was able to kind of spearhead some of the laws that go into Oregon's liquor laws.
Yeah, OLCC definitely is a little rough on distilleries.
For sure, it's very archaic rules, and there was a big article about corruption recently, and so it's just having to deal with those loopholes and still trying to be able to survive as a business. And be more than just like a liquor store that you can just only buy bottles at.
Right.
So this tasting room, we're only actually allowed to have, I think 2 ounces at a time.
Oh, wow.
So it is just kind of because we don't have food here.
Yeah.
It is, but we have access to food all around. You know what I mean?
You got several food trucks in the area.
Food trucks right across the street, but we're not in the business of getting people hammered. You know what I mean? Just taste the spirits, and then if you'd really like it, buy a bottle. And
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So you started here helping canning and bottling in the back.
Yeah.
When did you start getting interested in actually distilling and becoming? I assume you're a distiller here. Correct?
For sure, I am.
Yeah.
I'm the lead distiller here at the moment. I'm the only distiller here at the moment.
That's
so,
you're the only guy.
But watching Larry work back here, I think, and the relationship that we were able to form gave me a drive that wants to see this place succeed. I never grew up thinking I was going to be a distiller.
Right.
It was never a dream of mine. But I've learned to love the craft. It is its own kind of kitchen work, huge scale, chemistry. You are seeing and tasting chemical changes. I get to make clouds in a machine, and it rains down alcohol. Pretty cool job.
That is pretty cool, honestly.
Pretty awesome. I think that kind of romanticized version of it is what kind of drew me in. Now, when you're working it, it's totally different. It's a job, and you can get frustrated, and things don't go the way you want it to go. And with our, small setup, you just have to try and roll with the punches, just go with the flow as much as you can, and then, keep moving forward.
Distilling, coming from my point of view, it seems a lot more difficult, a lot more to it than brewing.
It's a long-term game. Where brewing and beer, you want to get it out as fast as possible because it's fresh and it's going to taste good and it's depleting. We're the exact opposite.
Right.
We make something and we put it away for 2 years, hoping that it tastes good.
Yeah. Right. It's got to be.
It's a little different.
Yeah, totally different. Same kind of processes. When we start a mash, it's basically a low ABV beer, and then we're just taking that concentrated alcohol flavor out of there. So lots of similar aspects. Like that's where Bowie, as a part of the whole company, River Barrel Brewing, really helps us out. They're able to make that whole mash process seemingly simple, but there are lots that go into a whole team over there working on making mash, centrifuging it, making it as clear as possible, which has really helped, I think, the flavor of the product a lot, giving it a lot cleaner, fresher taste.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool to have a big brewery like Bowie. Working with all the local, some more local areas like you guys especially.
For sure.
Really cool to see some camaraderie. Again, we've seen that a lot in our travels, and it's cool to have that.
And we do our barrels. We try and make sure that everybody around here, if they want to do some kind of barrel-aged beer, if they like to, if we're doing some kind of one-off or something like that, we've done a barrel-aged absinthe, and one of the breweries, which is no longer in town, did a stout inside of it. So like it was a barrel-aged absinthe, and then they barrel-aged a stout inside that barrel.
If there's one thing Dave loves, it's a barrel-aged stout.
No, we had one of our breweries back in Roseburg did a barrel-aged stout in an absinthe barrel.
Okay.
And it was amazing.
Delicious.
Oh man, it was
One of my
amazing.
favorites.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, how is, I guess we kind of covered it, but how is Pilot House connected to the local community and the local area?
Okay, so I think distilling is uniquely American, or kind of like gets behind that whole kind of small town craft, do-it-yourself kind of thing, and I think Astoria thrives on that. That's a huge fishing community. Had been in the past. Bornstein's still in town doing fishmongering. There's such a connection to the ocean and the sea that we wanted to encompass that in our name. And the bar pilots here in town have the most dangerous job in the area. Putting their lives at risk every day, and we wanted to try and encompass that kind of wild spirit and sense of adventure in our spirits.
I like that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, and again, history-rich area.
Yes.
I mean, and
Shanghaiing.
Shanghai.
Pirates.
That's what I was telling them.
So yeah,
shipwrecks.
The distilling, the hard liquor really kind of brings it all together, and you can taste that history when you're, in a place like this. It feels historic, and you take a drink of this.
Beams of wood. Every time I come in here, you just don't find those kind of beams anymore. They don't make trees that big anymore.
You can just feel the rich, and you just feel kind of home, and it's just I love the historical feel.
That's why I love this place.
Yeah, man, that's exactly it. And then this just kind of makes it all mesh right together. So it's really cool. So if you have not, stop by Pilot House, take a taste, grab something you want. I mean, if you make mixed drinks at home, this is a great spot to grab. For sure. And you guys do can a little bit. Yeah, we do. Let's talk about that.
For sure. So we do canned cocktails, ready to drink, RTDs.
Right on.
They're super convenient, super delicious. We have several different flavors. We do a Bloody Mary with our jalapeno lime vodka. Ooh. We do a gin and tonic with our Painted Lady gin. We do a cranberry vodka, which is delicious, and also a mule with our lemon ginger vodka.
That's what we tried on the show.
Okay.
Go back and watch that. It was pretty good. Like it.
Sure. My favorite's the gin and tonic at the moment. Well, we also do palomas and margaritas with our Blanco. So it's delicious if you're trying to do margaritas on a camping trip or like kayaking or something like that. It's really easy to grab a 4-pack. They're 10% by volume. Oh, so if you drink all 4 of them, you're going to be on your way.
Yes. Right on. Awesome. Well, thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and go on the distilling side real quick. We're going to take a look around there and learn some more about distilling. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Let's go.
Cheers.
All right, guys, now we are on the distilling side. As you can see, we have a lot of pretty brass, shiny stuff back here.
Brass and chrome. All
it looks
pretty.
good. It looks really cool. All right, Justin, so kind of explain real quick, what is this beautiful contraption
So
behind
this
us?
is a pot still and a condensing column. So this is like a huge boiling pot of mash. So we're going to take this. It's like a steam kettle.
Okay.
We seal it, and then as the heat rises, the alcohol is going to evaporate and rise through these tubes and make its way through, and it ends up going through this condensing column. And it starts here at the bottom and works its way up towards the top where there's a deflagonator that controls the temperature at which the evaporated alcohol goes through to the shotgun condenser, which is basically just a tube. This tube that you see going down through there is basically just in there, and it's encased of water.
Wow.
So this water goes in through the bottom and out through the top.
Okay.
And that way it's actually like once the steam, you know, the vapor makes it all the way through, it's super condensed right here, and that's what kind of makes it run to the parrot. And we're going to try and control the temperature so that it's coming out, everything's kind of measured at 60 degrees.
Okay. Wow.
That's how the hydrometer kind of measures. So as this is flowing out, I would have my hydrometer. I would close this bottom and let this part fill up here. I would drop it in there, and as if this temperature gauge here is at 60, this will read pretty accurately.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That's really cool. Some of that, you know, chemistry and stuff going on.
Everything that we distill comes out clear. No matter how dark or murky or sloshy, it goes in here, it comes out crystal clear on this end.
Okay.
So any kind of color you see in a whiskey is you're getting from the barrels themselves.
Oh, so like these.
That's interesting.
Over here.
Yeah, so these are, these would be like your regular whiskey barrels. These are actually wine barrels, and we have our Painted Lady Gin actually barrel aging in a red wine barrel at the moment.
Nice.
And we get those from local vineyards. I'd say local, you know, within a 2-hour drive somewhere.
There's not that many vineyards here in Astoria.
Yeah, no.
So what's the time for brewing, like, let's say a whiskey? How long does that normally
The mash
take?
itself?
Yes.
So at the volume that we're creating it, we do about a 40-barrel batch. So it's hundreds of gallons. Would take about 2 weeks to fully ferment.
Okay.
And then we're going to take that and gauge the sugar content of it, make sure that the yeast is still healthy. Then we're going to take that, and since we are limited by the size of the still, I can only do, you know, 175 gallons at a time. If I filled it up, this is a 250-gallon still, and I can fill it up pretty high when I'm doing vodkas, but if the mash itself starts bubbling, it can burp basically into the column, and you don't want, this is really hard to clean, and so I'm limited by the amount I can do. So with these totes over here, I usually do 6 runs out of those 275-gallon totes. Which is like a long week, but the running part, so the alcohol that's coming out is very small percentage of the time that actually takes to run it through the still. It takes a long time for this much liquid to heat up, and then you also have to cool it down. Okay. So The entire run normally would take like an 8-hour day, but with cleaning and refilling and getting ready for the next run the next morning, it's usually closer to a 10-hour day with a run. And then you're collecting, you're writing down all your information. As I'm distilling, usually I'm bottling and working on other orders that are going out. So it's not, sometimes people think you're just sitting back here looking at water run out of a machine, but because we're such a small
you got to be
operations, multitasking all the time, for sure.
Yeah.
So from this to a bottle, what's the time frame for? Let's say
depending on the product. So let's say whiskey. If we make a batch of whiskey tomorrow, we're not really going to taste it again until 2026. 2027.
So you got 2 to 3 years where you taste it.
Yeah. And I taste it before we put it into the barrels, for sure.
Just to make it
you know, last line of defense, quality assurance, you know what I mean? But the real test is when we take it out of the barrels. And I think that's kind of the magic of it, where you can see the difference between a new barrel or a barrel that's been sitting stagnant and barrels that have been out on boats. There's an obvious difference. You can smell the difference. You can taste the difference. It's a chemical change that's visible to the senses. You can taste it. You can smell it.
Okay. What's the quickest turnaround product you guys have? That can
the quickest turnaround product
from here to the shelf and ready to drink. What's the quickest?
Would be vodka.
Vodka. Okay.
So what we would do. We get GNS, a grain neutral spirit. It's cheaper to buy than it is to make. If once we have our large still, we might be able to make our own vodka or our own GNS. But right now, because of the price, it's just easier to buy it. So we buy GNS, infuse it, or just like, let's say if we're just making vodka, I would add water to it, bring it from like a 94.85 down to 62.5, just so I don't have alcohol bubbling at the bottom of the still. So there's a buffer between the alcohol. It's still going to come out at 89, 85% when it's coming out here.
Wow.
But we never get that 94.5 again after that original. And since we on our bottling it says we distill and brew or bottle everything here, we like to hold true to that. So there are ways to go around that for sure. But when you are trying to be true to the product, true to the flavor and the product itself, it's worth it just to send it through.
Gotcha. So is that process like a couple weeks?
No, it would be, let's say if I wanted to make vodka, I would fill this still up with 200 gallons at 62.5. I would warm it up, and since it's such a large amount, I would probably warm it up the night before and have it running in the morning. So I can set the system up so it's warm. It's warm to run in the morning. I'll flip a switch and then the system's on and it knows to start raising the temperature even higher. I control the temperature. So this is just basically a heating mechanism. It continuously gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And I control the temperature at which it comes out up there at the deflagonator.
Gotcha.
So this continuously gets hot. I try and mitigate that kind of burnt flavor, let's say in a whiskey, by controlling the temperature that it's being collected at.
Very cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I've always wondered when I see.
But getting back to vodka before I forget. It would be a day's run. So, and then we run our vodka through a charcoal filter just to give it as smoothest taste possible. Try and strip any kind of phthalic or nylon alcohol, bad alcohol flavors in there. That you can still find for sure. But in GNS, you never know. It's like a grain neutral, so it's across the board. But I would say if we needed vodka, I could have it in 3 days.
Wow.
Okay. That's cool.
That's fast.
With infusing, though, let's say with a gin or a flavored vodka, we like to infuse for 48 hours. So I would normally start something like that, like on a weekend, Friday, let it sit all weekend, Sunday evening, Monday, depending on what time I put it in, pull it, And then you have like this infused vodka. It's usually like gin itself is like a tea-colored, dark red tea.
Yeah.
And then when you put it in here and it's distilled, all that color is basically left inside the still. It's like a very oily, buttery smell, because you're actually stripping all those oils from whatever you're infusing it in, and it's getting caught in the alcohol. And that's where the flavor comes from.
Okay.
But it doesn't. The oils themselves, the flavor gets pulled through, but the oils themselves stay here in the still.
Interesting.
So it's I don't know if you guys have ever like smelled like weed butter or herb butter, like a really herby butter. That's what the still smells like after like a strong infusion.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I've always wondered how, like when we were at Steam Distillery, right? They were brand new, just opened up, and they had a few different, varieties on the shelf, and I was like, how? And then he told us, oh, this takes 3 years, this takes 2 years.
Oh,
I'm
for
like,
sure.
so this place, you guys were doing this way before you opened. So there's a lot of pre-work going on before you see.
But at that time, most of the stuff they had going was just vodkas and gin.
Right,
and,
so that stuff definitely is quicker.
That's definitely similar with our story. That's why we have so many different variations of gin and vodkas, because while we were waiting those first few years to get the whiskey that we wanted so badly, we had to,
do something.
Still something. You know,
this stuff is fast. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, do you have anything in the works right now that we're going to see in the next few years that's going to blow someone's socks off, or that's new that you've been working on?
For sure. So, I just made a new batch of coffee liqueur. That's seasonal, super coffee based.
Nice.
It's not like a Kahlua.
Yeah.
It's real, I would say like a dry black coffee. But I make a simple syrup to proof it down with vanilla beans and brown sugar. So it's real kind of like a biscotti coffee kind of flavor. If you like dip that crunchy kind of bread in your coffee and kind of eat it, it's like a real kind of...
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think
Definitely intriguing.
Yeah.
We are always doing different things with our Painted Lady Gin. Our Painted Lady Gin has won several awards. Nice. I think it's best gin nationally. I think. Excuse me. I'm forgetting right now, but I think we just got national like best gin this past year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So Painted Lady is one of my favorites for sure, and we're always trying to take that and find something else that we can add to that flavor.
Yeah.
So we have been, like I said, barrel aging it in wine barrels, white wines and red wines. I just on Thursday put some Painted Lady gin into a Hell or High Water barrel.
Oh.
So we're going to have a mix of the botanical gin and hopefully a little bit of that ocean aged barrel flavor in there.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, so we usually rest barrels, so like 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
That would be like a reposado if we're talking like agave spirits or tequila. Like a Blanco is white. A reposado is something that's less than a year aged, and anything over that is like an añejo, which is a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have 2 batches of reposado here, but they're so close. Let's see, on the 725, they will be a year old. So they're going to both be añejos instead.
Interesting.
That's cool. And I like the barrels and the time it takes and the care it takes to make stuff like this. It's the craft.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and it's at the same time that there is like hustle and bustle of production. I like that kind of slower pace, long-term aspect to it, where it's not kind of like, oh my God, I have to get this out today, because you know it's not going to.
You gotta.
Because some stuff, the longer the wait, the better.
For sure, the better. Yeah, there's a payoff there.
Yeah, so I have a beer in my fridge right now. It's a barley wine from I won't say the brewery, but it's about 12 years old right now.
Okay.
And it's been handled well.
Awesome. Awesome. I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, we'll see when.
Yeah.
I've had it for 2 years myself.
Awesome.
So.
Wow.
Yeah, I love any barrel aging or just aging period.
For sure.
I love it.
All right, guys. So like we said before, these guys do can. There's some cocktails. Here's a look at what they've got coming out. Yeah, you guys just mentioned you switched from the tall, skinny cans
To the smaller, regular
ounces.
12-ounce cans, for sure. And I think they are still the same on the inside. They're just a little bit different on the outside.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what you guys used to have here.
Yeah, the tall
This is what we
slims.
tried. Yeah.
I really like the feel of those in the hand, but
Yeah.
I think displaying them in stores is a lot easier with the
With the
smaller
Coolers
standard
also, you
12
can
ounce.
fit
Yeah.
those in a lot easier. So how far do you guys reach as far as distribution goes?
For sure. We have distribution throughout Oregon, Washington. We send stuff out to Alaska,
Wow.
Wisconsin,
Wow.
Idaho, Arizona, Colorado, I believe. Did I say Alaska?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
all right. Wow.
So
So you
that's
guys
quite a bit.
have
Quite
a
a
nice
bit.
reach going on.
For sure, and
That's really cool.
Consistently trying to find new areas that will, are able to hold our product. We have online access
Oh,
for
sweet.
sure. With our River Barrel distributing, we take care of our own distribution throughout the Washington state. And that's where River Barrel Distributing is located, is in Washington. But they don't just do our products. They also do Bowie's products, and they do North Coast Brewing products, and they do everything that you can find, like Public Coast, Reach Break when it was open, Reveille when it was open. We were able to distribute those things for everybody that didn't have a distribution company that was willing to do their small products. We were able to do that for everybody that's in this area.
Very cool.
Yeah, and it was something that we needed as a company, but also lots of people in this area needed. So it was able to be that kind of neighbor, the community member in the business world to help everybody out and try and get the products that are so special to us here out into the bigger world so they can be appreciated. Maybe drive a little bit of that tourism our way for sure.
And this is a great tourist spot.
Yep.
I mean,
man, so
just
many
looking
things.
for a campground, because we were originally going to try to camp out here.
Okay.
There's nothing.
No, it is packed
So
for sure.
if you want to camp over here, you got to book it like a year
Yeah,
out.
and hotel rooms triple. during the
Hotel
peak
rooms,
season.
man. We got lucky with that. Was a good price we got locked in at. So you got to be on the lookout. But yeah, come on out here to Astoria, Oregon. Beautiful, lots to see, lots to do, lots to drink.
For sure.
This is just one spot, and definitely put it on your list of places to stop. And you can walk this whole town, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I love, and I can walk to work.
Yeah,
My kids can walk around town. You know what I mean? It's
Astoria is a great town for that. Great town to walk.
The River Walk.
River Walk,
is beautiful. You can ride your
trails.
bike.
I've done the whole thing a couple times.
So many. the column, the Cathedral Tree Trail.
Yeah, we're gonna try to go up there today.
Awesome. And we're not too far from Cannon Beach, where you can see the rock from the Goonies, Haystack.
Okay.
There's such a film connection here as well.
Yeah,
with like Goonies
countless
and
movies.
Short Circuit and The Ring. Kindergarten Cop.
Then Ghost Adventures was here.
Ghost Adventures was here for
That's
sure.
like one
underneath
of
the
our-
butcher's place. Yeah, for sure.
Our big
They
inspiration
did
is
4 or
Ghost
5
Adventures.
episodes here in
Yeah,
Astoria.
for sure.
And now Beverage Hunters is here in Astoria.
Yeah. So Astoria is, built on top of the ruins of the old town.
Yeah.
So underneath
it's burned
town,
a couple times.
It's burnt down a few times. It used to be an entire city made of wood. And then it burnt down 2 times.
Wow.
And then they started making everything concrete. But underneath, there's Astoria Underground.
Yeah.
And back in the day, they wouldn't allow like women and other peoples of other race walk around. So they would make them walk around. If you walk in town, there's like little violet glass pieces, and that would to let the sunlight through so they could see while they're walking underneath the ground.
Yeah.
That's insane. Crazy. I love that.
But also that's where like the Shanghaiing happens. People coming up from underneath places, dragging you down, and then you're just out on a boat somewhere.
That's scary. Yeah.
Welcome to Astoria.
Yeah. Rich in history.
Right? Man, rich history.
It is. It's insane how much history is here. I mean, it goes clear back to Lewis and Clark.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is where they came.
All right. Well, hey, I think that wraps it up for us.
Awesome.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you guys again, Justin.
Awesome.
It's been a pleasure.
Definitely. I appreciate you guys coming in, tasting our wares, getting the word out. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been, like I said, a destination of ours to hit, and now we've done it, and we've got a lot more to see.
We got a lot more to see. Yes.
Awesome. Well, I hope you guys have a great journey.
We definitely
Be
will.
safe.
Thank you, man.
You're
All
welcome.
Right, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Welcome everybody. Today we are beverage hunters in Astoria, Oregon. This town has been around here. It's one of the oldest settlements from 1811. We are standing right here underneath the base of the Astoria Bridge, which on the other side is Washington, of course. Now a lot of people come here, you know, for Goonies or for, you know, because of all the rich history in the movie scene, and cut all that out. All right.
Start again. Start again. No, that was too quick. We good? I'll wait for this car to go by. One more time. Edit that out. All right.